Basketball is king. They won their first professional basketball championship since 1973. What a moment for Harvey Catchings watching Tamika get a championship, and she's with Holly now.
Well, Tamika, this has been a long time coming. How difficult was this for you tonight to close it out?
Oh, man. I thank God first and foremost. This was awesome. Yeah, when we came out, second half, last 20 minutes, we knew we had to go get it. We took it.
You know, the ability to draft Tamika, even though she was hurt, but knowing what kind of player she was at Tennessee, and you were hoping what kind of player she'd be in the WNBA.
It starts with building blocks, and obviously Tamika was a building block, and I knew after we went to the playoffs for the first time in 2002 that she was going to be a cornerstone piece.
I'm really excited. One of the things that I've been saying for the past couple of weeks is that instead of getting Rookie of the Year, I'd rather be in the playoffs. And here we are, first game of the playoffs and getting Rookie of the Year. So I can't ask for anything else for today.
Now Richardson, and there's a steal. Tamika. Catching out the pass. Setting it up, and Catchings is not missed from outside the arc tonight. And New York advances.
You know, sometimes the expectation is that you're going to jump from college or from high school to college and then college to the pros and immediately win. The journey had definitely been, especially early on, a challenging one.
You take some baby steps as you're moving forward in the process, and you're getting close, but you always had somebody in the way.
Final possession. That'll do it. For the second time in 3 years, the Phoenix Mercury are the champs of the WNBA. Heartbreak for Katie Douglas, Tammy Sutton-Brown, Tamika Catchings, and the city of Indianapolis.
2009 really gave us the first glimpse of we deserve to be a championship team. We have finally made it. We finally put the right pieces together. We finally put the right players together. We figured out ways to play together.
Kelly and I both thought if we just kept tinkering a little bit with this team, then we're going to get back there, and the next time we get there, we're going to win the championship.
We showed up to work every day, and I think that prepared us.
To finally sort of break the barrier, break the glass, and win an Eastern Conference title and get to the WNBA Finals, I think that really set the table for what was to come.
How does my hair look? Great. I curled it myself, so you know how that goes. I think every single year you come into Media Day, and the question every year is this going to be the year? And if you're a competitor like I am, every single year you say, yes, this will be the year.
And the Fever have started 2012 with a win. Great body control by Sutton-Brown. They try to make it 4-0.
And I remember that year we put in so much work as a team, and we did the extra reps. We wanted to try to be perfect in an imperfect game.
By the way, that was an Olympic year. So we had the Olympics in the middle of all that.
You know, this is Catch going for her third gold medal, and, you know, I'm going for my second. So we all just try to come together and represent our country strong.
In London, where Team USA women begin the drive for 5, an unprecedented 5 straight gold medals.
I mean, 2 totally different time zones, 2 totally different, and it was just more about mentality, more about focus. There was just a difference by representing your country on the USA team and then coming back.
While she was gone, during that period of time, we had tremendous practices.
I was in London, and I called back and talked to Coach Dunn, and I was like, you know, how's practice going? And she was like, you know, it's coming together. Like, we're starting to gel a little bit.
I think one of the most underrated things, though, about that season was our practice squad. We had an amazing practice squad. Like, we had so many guys come in. We had 2 and 3 teams of 5 that were willing to make us better.
And I think we got better every day.
2012, when I came back, you could tell the team was different.
She saw, oh my gosh, this is not the team that I left 3 weeks ago.
Whatever they did while I was gone, whatever they did while we were away with the Olympics, when we came back, it was like everybody's level was like we were all operating at a different level. We were all at the top of our game. And you started to see the pieces come together.
Indiana, for a second time, will win 22 games in a WNBA season, and they'll head to the playoffs on a 2-game win streak.
With the bitter taste of last year's conference finals elimination still with them, Indiana was poised to return the favor.
Going in and playing against Atlanta, we know what kind of team they are. They're going to get on the boards, crash the board, and of course, Angel McCoughtry.
Nobody can stop aggressiveness. That's just one thing you can't stop in a game.
What a shot by McCoughtry, and that's Angel at her best.
Angel McCoughtry can take over a game offensively.
He's one of those players that I put at the top of my personal list as far as individual one-on-one matchups.
I expected us to win. But one thing about the playoffs is you take every single game, one game at a time.
And while the scheme to slow Angel McCoughtry worked as planned, it did nothing to contain Atlanta's Lindsey Harding.
Nice spin move by Harding. Atlanta demonstrated they're not a one-horse team.
Game 1, they just came out and just took it right at us.
Some frustration out there for the Fever. The Catch hasn't scored for 14 minutes.
And there's nothing Indiana can do to stop the dream.
I definitely was playing well leading up to that, and then just for whatever reason, I could not string it together.
Great effort by Atlanta, a new career high, playoff high that is for Harding.
We've got to regroup and we've got to bring our A game, and I think we can go up there and steal a ball game.
I'm walking back down the ramp. Every car is gone, everybody's gone. There's one car sitting there, and it's Tamika sitting in her car. She's just sitting in her car like this, and I walked up to her window and I was like, "What are you doing?" And she just looked at me and she was like, "Well, I was getting treatment and I just couldn't leave." And that struck me because she had this look like I was like, "Oh boy, here we go."
I don't remember that, but you know, it's interesting. There's a lot of things I don't remember that my teammates do. I kind of go in my own little zone sometimes.
Tamika was just one of those players who was always able to will teams to do things that people didn't think that we were capable of. And she just did, and that mentality, you know, permeated this franchise.
Dream are trying to get to their third straight Eastern Conference final. Indiana has lost 3 straight to Atlanta in the postseason.
Game 2 with the Dreams seemed like a recurring nightmare for the Fever, and their championship aspirations appear to be slipping away.
The team is looking at me and how I respond. And if I respond and go irate and get crazy, then they will as well.
Tamika would rise up.
Last shot opportunity for Indiana. Catchings for 3. That would be big, and it is. January, that's nice. You think she took it personal that Lindsey Harding was able to get 23 in game 1?
Those players that kind of like come in clutch in those moments of importance, you have a sense of security.
Catchings was relentless, finishing with 25 points to take the series back home.
This is even, it's 1-1. It doesn't matter where you play. We're both gonna go there. It's gonna be a war.
No one had a greater drive to win than her. No one. I've never seen one player. Still don't know of one.
Downtown Indianapolis, it's the third and final game of this Eastern Conference semifinal series.
After the Dream had held Indiana's Katie Douglas to just 16 points in the first 2 games of the series, she erupted for 10 in the first quarter of the deciding contest.
Pass stolen by Douglas. Off and running, 2-on-1. Douglas lays it in.
Katie Douglas won the Atlanta series.
Indianapolis native who, you know, hoped to take the next step and bring a championship to her hometown.
I had to have a talk with myself. You know, you cannot go into one of these, you know, slumps, funks, whatever you want to call it.
It is a 10-point first quarter for Douglas.
Totally different mindset. It's her mental approach to playing Atlanta.
Playing with a renewed confidence, Katie Douglas delivered a scorching performance from the perimeter, which was complemented by a dominating attack on the interior by Erlana Larkins.
It's hard to play a team 3 times, you know, in a row. So you're constantly making tweaks, constantly making adjustments, trying to exploit whatever schemes are running.
And Lin Dunn and the Fever in front of this raucous crowd advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. They'll play Connecticut on Friday night.